they are really trying to take this app down. And my thing is, like, this is really about free speech. That's all this is really coming down to, in my opinion.
But TikTok has a very strong censorship apparatus, I would say. And I say this because there are certain things that we can upload or say on YouTube that we cannot say on TikTok. TikTok's algorithm is far more strict, I would say, or their censorship is more strict. And we found this out. Like, look at someone like Midwestern Marks. Like, how many times has TikTok like taken down their channel? Like, TikTok is very strict, you guys. Like, it's not as strict, or is very strict, but YouTube can be strict as well. But YouTube is not even as strict as TikTok is. Like, if you go onto TikTok and you start talking about communism, they're more likely to take it down. You can still talk about it on YouTube. Even the language, you got to be really careful.
Here it is, Mint Press News, right? This is an article that was actually shown to be by Eddie Liger Smith from Midwestern Marks. The NATO to TikTok pipeline, why TikTok is employing so many national security agents. If TikTok is such a danger, then why in the hell do we have national security agents that are overseeing some of the safety on TikTok? See, that's the thing. And this is the crazy part about it. It's not really about the safety of TikTok, because if this was about safety, they would be going after Instagram. They'd be going after Facebook. They'd be going after Snapchat, because some of these, because guess what? They're talking about all these different challenges that people died from. And I'm like, okay, but what about the challenges that happen on Snapchat? Nobody's talking nothing, saying nothing, diddly squat about Snapchat. And yet, they're not saying anything about it. They're not saying anything about YouTube, right? They're not saying anything about these challenges that pop up on them. But yet, TikTok. Why? And then another thing that kept coming up during the hearing, the Chinese Communist Party, the CCP, blah, 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 blah. They kept bringing that up, hammering it home. The crazy part is that, hold up, let me take this down. Let me take this down really quick so y'all can see my face. Get off me. Let me tell y'all something. The kids are not scared of communism anymore.
Nope.
That's why they're afraid. That's why. Because people like us, like Rome, CJ, Nick, people like Midwestern Marks, and I follow a bunch of commies on TikTok, and their videos go viral.
Yep.
And it's because of that, because TikTok is not so stringent on that. That's why they're also upset. They don't care.
And those short kind of vids, like, I mean, you can watch that in like 2 minutes. I think 3 minutes might be the max for a TikTok video. So you can watch that very quickly and absorb that information very quickly. And by the time they even come back and say, okay, we're going to remove this video, or we found this video to be in violation of such and such policy, too late. 1,000 people have already seen it.
Yeah. Look, Midwestern Marks have 150,000 followers? Over 150,000 followers. Their videos were going viral. You have PSL. They have some videos that are going viral.
Yes.
Right? You have some big TikTok accounts that
for
are
people who don't. Yeah, for people who are not aware, like, it's easier to go viral on TikTok than it is on YouTube.
Yeah.
I know a YouTuber that I think she has she does vlogs, but I think she has almost 2,000 subs or whatever, and she's been doing this for a while. But she set up a TikTok account and she went viral like that. Millions of views. So yeah, it's very different than what you get like on YouTube or like Facebook, so to speak.
Yeah. So this article, this is from Alan McLeod, says, Culver City, California, as the bloody conflict in Ukraine continues to escalate, so does the online propaganda war between Russia and the West. A prime example of this is the White House directly briefing influencers on popular social media app TikTok about the war and how to cover it. Stopping right there. The United States literally had TikTok influencers come to the White House to tell them how to talk about the war in Ukraine. And they want to talk about how, the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, is going to be infiltrating and trying to gear our elections. What about the TikTok influencers that are being told by the government, their propaganda about how the war in Ukraine is going? When in reality, they're spinning it according to what they want, when in reality, it's not what's actually going on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the problem. And then you have some of these influencers that might be told to turn off their duets and turn off their stitches whenever they do this, so nobody can rebuff what they actually say. Because that does happen. And yet they're complaining about, China. And yet look what the United States is doing. Continuing, it says with the app estimated to have around 70 million US users, that actually doubled. White House has keenly aware of this impact. We recognize this is a critically important avenue in the way the American public is finding out about the latest. So we want to make sure that you have the latest information from an authoritative source. So TikTok itself has taken steps to align itself with U.S. government policy, deleting more than 320,000 Russian accounts and removing at least 41,000 videos peddling misinformation about the war. In addition to this, it has placed warning labels marked Russian state-controlled media on 49 accounts linked to the Russian government. Like other big social media platforms, it has not done the same to Western state-owned outlets such as the BBC, RTE, and CBC.
Of course not.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Of course not. Well, I was going to say, of course not. Like we were talking about this. I've probably talked about this a couple of times, but like China has, when we look at the top largest, banks, the top 10 banks in the world, China has, like, I think it's 5 in the top 10, or 5 in the top 5, actually. You don't even see a US bank until you get to number 6, and that's JP Morgan. And it didn't used to always be that way. So what people have to understand is that economically, China is a huge competitor, and the United States doesn't like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if TikTok, if it was an app that was invented here in the United States, they would not have an issue with this.
Yeah. And my thing is actually, this is a good clip that you sent me. Thank you very much. But this is crazy. This next paragraph says, all this is a far cry from 2020 when President Donald Trump signed an order that would shut down TikTok within 45 days unless it was sold to an American buyer. The Chinese-owned platform, the U.S. government alleged, posed a severe national security threat to the United States. Although TikTok is a Chinese company, it is, ironically, completely blocked inside China. Their domestic market being served by a sister app, Douyin, which functions in a similar way, but is separated by the Great Firewall. Thus, there is no contact or overlap between the two. After Douyin's success in China, its parent company ByteDance launched a global platform.
That's right. Yeah, my students from China had explained this to me as well. Like, so people have to understand that, like, they do have certain firewalls there, so they don't have access to some of the same apps that we do in America.
Okay. It says ByteDance first reached a deal to sell TikTok to Microsoft, then to Oracle and Walmart. Yet the new Biden administration, without explanation, quietly dropped the sale requirement indefinitely in early 2021, saying in a court filing it had begun a review of security concerns cited by the Trump administration. That decision left buyers and onlookers alike perplexed. Yet, studying the backgrounds of dozens of key TikTok employees brought on since 2020, scares suggest instead of destroying TikTok, perhaps U.S. national security state has co-opted it instead.
There you go.
So it says, since 2020, there has been a wave of former spooks, spies, and mandarins appointed to influential positions within TikTok, particularly around content and policy, some of whom, on paper at least, appear unqualified for such roles. For example, while simultaneously being the content policy lead for TikTok Canada, Alexander Corbeil is also the vice president of the NATO Association of Canada, a NATO-funded organization chaired by former Canadian Prime Minister of Defense David Collinet. In order to join TikTok, Corbeil left his job at the SecDev Foundation, a U.S. State Department-funded security think tank. Corbeil's work focused on Middle Eastern security and in particular on the war in Syria and what NATO's role should be. So this basically shows that there are key people within TikTok that are part of the national security state. So my question is, what in the hell is the concern? Because you already got your people in there.
They don't want China to succeed economically. That's a big part of what this is about. You know, I still remember the Facebook hearing that Congress had with Mark Zuckerberg. And again, it was a similar situation where a lot of the congressmen and women didn't even understand how Facebook worked. You know, some of the questions they were asking him, I was like, oh my God, have they ever used Facebook? Like, they just seem really confused. But, you know, this goes back to the issue with capitalism, the fact that when people talk about free market and they say free markets are great, or we love to have a free market, the problem is the free market isn't fair. It's not fair to everyone. And so, yes, there are some people that are going to succeed with a free market. And then there's going to be other people that are going to be at the bottom, no matter how you try to reform it. There's always going to be someone at the bottom of the free market. And then you're going to have people fighting over products and who gets to produce a product in what country and what time. And that's another thing that's going on here, too, as well. It's just like nobody in the U.S. decided to invent TikTok.
Yeah.
So,
and the thing is, I mean, according to the free market, look, you snooze, you lose. Guess what? Somebody in China decided to create it, and now they got the market. So guess what? Isn't it the free market?
Is it? I mean, it's free for, I feel like, those who can afford it. Like it's not free for everybody. That's what it seems like to me. But I think that, again, like placing restrictions on certain businesses and telling them where they can be and where they can't be, it's capitalism.
Yeah. So let me play this video that you shared with me, because I want to make sure I get this in. Let's see.
Case study QB.
Case study QB. I also have another video from him, by the way.
Whoop whoop. Case doing the thing.
Okay. Let's go.
New York Congressman Jamaal Bowman was one of several Democrats who joined TikTok creators for a rally at the Capitol. He suggested TikTok is being unfairly targeted.
In terms of TikTok's behavior and its risk to national security, it poses about the same threat that companies like Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter pose. So let's not marginalize and target TikTok.
New York Congressman Jamaal Bowman was one of several Democrats who joined TikTok creators for a rally at.
I'm gonna be real with you. I actually agree with Jamaal Bowman on this one.
Yeah, he's right about that. I mean, he's right on something now. Yeah, he's absolutely right about that. It's like, obviously TikTok is being singled out here, and it is more popular than Facebook. Like, Facebook is kind of like falling off. Like, to be honest with you, like, not a lot of younger people in particular are passionate about Facebook the way that they were when it first came out. Like, remember how we were about Facebook when it first came out in like 2008? And I felt like a couple years ago, Facebook was a little bit more popular, but people have been moving away from Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Facebook is really for the older people just to connect now.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
I
honestly, like my Facebook account mainly exists because it helped me, get back in touch with people that I went to high school with that I hadn't seen in like years. And now I just use it like mainly just to post like things that we stream, and that's it. Like videos, and that's pretty much it. But I used to use it a lot more back in the day, but now it's just like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, Facebook is where I met my boyfriend. So, that's
Oh,
one
JP.
thing. I know. But yeah, so I mean, that's the thing, that's one thing I am grateful for. But yeah,
It's
these things
lost
they come
its
and go.
appeal. It's
Yeah.
lost its appeal. It's kind of stale to me, like, to be honest. But I think the engagement value on Facebook it started to decrease over time. Maybe that's why they laid off over 20,000 people recently,
21,000.
because
Mm-hmm.
altogether, because didn't they have 2 layoffs? They just
Yeah.
had this recent one, and there was one
In
yeah.
November.
Mm-hmm.